It would not be wrong for me to say that the Hyundai Sonata is one of the rarer cars that we get to see on our roads today. The car made quite a stir in our market when it first launched for all the right reasons. Today we have with us the 6th generation Hyundai Sonata, a car that epitomized Hyundai's commitment to blending style, performance and innovation. The car still hasn't lost its charm and has a fair share of people looking to own one. In this video, we'll take a look at all the aspects of the car and the value the vehicle has to offer today. Welcome to Shift and Surge, your source for quality automotive content. Right from the first glance, the car is absolutely beautiful to look at with its fluidic design language. The prominent chrome grille houses the Hyundai logo, and the strong character lines on its long bonnet leading to the roofline adds character. Projector headlamps and halogen fog lamps are provided up front. A chrome strip runs on either side through the shoulder line. The side profile shows the long length of the car and its coupe-like rear section, which is great to look at. The cut at the bottom of the bone line goes through the handles and concludes at the rear chrome strip, which is a superb design element. The alloys look great, and the Sonata has 215/55R17 tires, which have been upgraded here to a 215/60R17, which effectively increases the ground clearance from its stock 155mm by a good 11mm. Owing to its long wheelbase and low ground clearance, to avoid scraping, you do have to be careful while going over bigger speed breakers and potholes. Upsizing the tires has made things much better in this regard, and I don't have to be as careful now. The wraparound LED tail lamps at the rear look good, and we have the Hyundai and GDI branding here. The chrome piece in the middle hides the number plate lights and the rear view camera. Dual exhaust tips are functional and look good. There is no button here to open the boot, and it has to be done either through the key or the latch on the driver's side door. The boot is neatly wrapped and has ample space to hold luggage. The subwoofer is also housed here. The spare tire, toolkit and manual jack are neatly housed below. Overall fit and finish seem great. Panel gaps are consistent and the paint quality is great as well. The design has aged well and is relevant even to today's standards. The car seems to have a lot of similarities to the stunning Mercedes-Benz CLS, but at the same time is unique and has its own flair. The car is big and is one of the widest cars in the segment, second only to the Honda Accord. Like I said earlier, the car is a looker and will certainly turn heads even today. Before we move ahead, make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more automobile content. Moving into the car, the first thing you will notice when pulling the chrome handle is the heft the door has to it. The door feels solidly built and closes with a nice sounding thud. Inside the car, there is loads of space on offer, and that camel and black theme only adds to the roominess of the cabin. The fluidic design language continues inside the cabin and is good to look at. A mix of soft touch materials, fox wood trims and hard plastics have been used throughout the cabin, and the cabin feels premium overall. The top portion of the dashboard is made of a soft touch material, and unfortunately on some cars, this tends to form cracks over time, which is a bummer. Soft touch materials have also been provided on the doors. The roofline is made of very good quality materials as well. Sunroof not offered in any variant is unfortunate. The hard plastics used feel heavy and solid and are built to last. The center console is a combination of fox wood trims, matte plastic and glossy plastic, which is a fingerprint magnet. The buttons are legible and easy to use whilst on the move. The manual volume control knob and the Volvo-like air blower controller are good touches. You get a USB, aux and charging port here as well. Sufficient storage spaces are provided all around the car. The glove box is cooled and medium-sized. Door pockets are large and can hold 1 liter water bottles along with other stuff. Storage spaces at the armrest are also provided on all doors. There is also a slidable storage compartment near the front center armrest, which also has 2 storage compartments. Another storage space below the infotainment cluster with rubber padding is useful as well. At the front, the leather seats are accommodating and comfortable to be in. There are no issues with the headroom and thigh support on offer. The driver's seat is powered and has 8-way adjustability along with lumbar support. The passenger seat at the front is also powered and has a 4-way adjustability. The memory and ventilated seat function of the front seats, however, are reserved for the automatic transmission version of the Sonata. A sunglass holder is provided up top next to the cabin lights. You can also control all the cabin lights from the front, which is very useful. The rear leather seats are almost sofa-like and it feels like you are cocooned within the seats. Headroom is sufficient whilst thigh support and legroom are ample and you will feel no shortage of it whatsoever. The front seats have a plastic cladding and are scooped out at the back. The car can be best described as a 4-seater as there is a rather large hump both at the floor as well as at the seat of the middle passenger. It is okay for use on shorter rides but becomes almost unusable over longer rides. The space in the middle is put to best use as the armrest. Speaking of the armrest is massive and has sufficient storage areas and 12-volt connectors. You also get your controls for the infotainment system along with the controls for the rear seat cooling function, which is an absolute treat to use, especially in our hot climate. Another thing to note is that the lower window line is set relatively high and shorter people will find it difficult to get a good look outside. Although this doesn't seem like a big deal, it might lead to a sense of claustrophobia to some people. The rear seats are foldable but don't split. Overall fit and finish are great and the cabin is a superb place to be in. Driving the car, you notice the ride quality is plush and comfortable. It smoothens out all undulations on the road owing to its softer suspension setup. This, however, introduces a slight bit of body roll and reduced stability at higher speeds. This aspect, however, does not intrude into the driving experience as the car remains planted and goes exactly where you want it to. The feeling of a slight lack of stability when you first take the car to high speeds wears off once you understand the capability of the car, which subsequently enables you to drive the Sonata in a much more confident manner than you first thought was possible. Leather-wrapped hydraulic steering feels good to hold and is on the heavier side at lower speeds, which requires some sort of effort to make U-turns. It weighs up well as you speed up, but it lacks in overall feel and feedback. The steering, however, feels decent to use. The Sonata only came with the option of a petrol engine with no diesel alternative to choose from. The 2.4-liter gasoline direct injection engine is very smooth and one can hardly feel any vibrations creeping inside the cabin. In fact, at standstill, it feels as if the engine is not running at all. Engine sound is well contained within the 2500 RPM mark, but becomes apparent after this point. I definitely am not complaining about this because I love how the engine sounds. The engine is mated to a 6-speed manual transmission, which is slick and easy to use. The clutch has a long travel and the gears are long too. Because of this, the car tends to easily stall in the first gear and you have to rev the engine up to prevent this from happening. The first 3 gears are short and will mostly be sufficient for use within city limits, with an occasional use of the 4th gear. The remaining gears will most likely become useful on the highways. Speaking of performance, the Sonata has some big numbers on the paper and revs all the way up to 6,700 RPM, 201 PS at 6,300 RPM and 250 Nm of torque at 4,250 RPM propels the car to 100 from standstill in about 8.5 seconds, which is a really good figure. The car can hold 3-digit speeds with ease and overtaking in any given condition is a breeze with that brisk performance on offer. Traction control can be toggled on or off using the button on the driver's right-hand side. Disc brakes on all wheels offer a sharp bite, inspire confidence, and stop the vehicle exactly as intended. This makes you push the car further to its limits. The Sonata also has a whopping 70-liter fuel tank, meaning more time on the roads and fewer fuel stops. I got a mileage of around 6 to 8 kilometers per liter within city limits and close to 10 kilometers per liter whilst cruising on the highway, averaging about 100 kilometers an hour. The dual zone air conditioner works well and cools the cabin fast even when it is really hot outside. You also get AC vents for the rear passengers. Powered outside rearview mirrors are huge and offer a good view of the traffic. It's also interesting that they fold upwards when closed. This, along with the huge A-pillars, creates a slight blind spot behind them, which one has to be careful about. Automatic IRVM work well and is decently sized. This also doubles up as the screen for the rear view camera, which is very useful, but does not get adaptive guidelines. All windows are powered and only the driver's side window gets one touch up or down functionality. Automatic headlamps and rain sensing wipers are good feature additions. Xenon headlamps are bright and do a good job of lighting up the path at night. Follow Me Home headlamp functionality is also provided, which can be accessed from the instrument cluster. The instrument cluster has two major pods focused on the driver, one with the tachometer and the other with the speedometer. This is legible to view whilst on the move, and the controls to its brightness are provided to the right-hand side. Other pieces of information are provided between the pods and within the pods as well. These include open door indicator, a fuel meter, and an engine temperature indicator. You also get an odometer and two trip meters that can be accessed using the steering mounted controls. They kinda drop the ball on giving you info like distance to empty and mileage. Seems to be a pretty big oversight considering how handy that info can be. The 6-speaker audio system has 4 speakers, 2 tweeters, a subwoofer and an amplifier, and it sounds amazing. There is no distortion even at high volume, and all frequencies of music are clearly distinguishable. It is a treat to listen to any sort of music with this audio system, and I absolutely enjoyed the experience. It also supports Bluetooth connectivity along with the other connectivity ports on offer. Steering mounted audio controls do not get in the way when driving and are handy to use. The horn is also sufficiently loud and has a good tone to it as well. Vanity mirror lights are manually operable, but placed such that they turn off when you close the visor. This is a neat touch. Wipers are big and they cover the entire windshield well. NVH levels are kept well under control and you can hardly hear the engine when driving sedately. Outside noise is filtered out quite well too. Tire noise and wind noise creeps in slightly at higher speeds, but there is nothing to complain about. As far as safety goes, the Sonata is loaded with features such as 6 airbags, ABS with brake assist, EBD, ESP, and TCS, which can be toggled on or off. There are no issues in this regard and the Sonata has all aspects totally covered. Servicing will cost you around Rs 10,000 for the general service at Hyundai. Owing to the rarity of this car, some parts may be more difficult to source than others and might be on the costlier side as well. A reputed third-party service garage should help keep those costs in check. Some maintenance is required as well, and Hyundai recommends the usage of top-tier gasoline, which is basically petrol with additives that help keep the carbon deposits in check, which is a common occurrence in this engine. If top-tier gasoline is not available, additives can be added to keep the engine free of carbon deposits. This also brings better fuel efficiency figures. I also found that the engine ran smoother with higher octane fuel. Overall, the Hyundai Sonata is a superb car in all aspects. It looks great and will definitely turn heads for its road presence and rarity on our roads. The car is well built, feels heavy, and is premium on the inside as well. The cabin is a comfortable place to be in, feels very spacious, and has a good amount of features on offer, including dual zone climate control, a 6-CD changer, a multi-information display, ventilated seats, rear defogger, and much more. The car, although not as engaging to drive as some of its competitors, it feels good to drive and has its own unique set of dynamics. That said, the Sonata is definitely geared more towards comfort than for the driving enthusiast. It is a unique car that can't be found much on the roads and feels like a possession to own. So for those looking for these aspects in your car, you can definitely go for the Hyundai Sonata, and I am sure that it will pleasantly surprise you. That brings us to the end of this video. Make sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more such automobile content. Do comment your thoughts on the Sonata and any questions as well. Until the next one, this is Rohit here from Shift and Surge signing off. Thank you for watching and wish you all a happy driving.